This is Tempest 4000 for the PlayStation 4, developed by Llamasoft and released in 2018. Tempest was a classic arcade game from the early 80s, and this is a modern re-envisioning of the game. For modern consoles and audiences, of course. There was a Tempest 2000 released a while back. That was for the Atari Jaguar, but I haven't given that one a try yet, so don't know what it's like. Tempest is a relatively simple game at its core, I think. You're basically moving a cannon around the screen and you're dodging and trying to shoot everything that moves, because pretty much everything is coming after you. Your goal is to survive as long as possible and get as many points as you can along the way. It was definitely a more simple game in its original form. Back in the early 80s, Tempest was a collection of wireframe objects. But here, Tempest 4000, it includes more colors, it's got different objects, and a lot of the objects are actually colored in. Maybe this is a minor distinction, but if you were to hold both games up to one another, you would notice the difference. I guess the core gameplay is pretty much the same, but there are certainly a few additions that make this game feel maybe a little bigger than the original. First, we get music. We have this awesome, modern-sounding synth track in the background, and it really works. I mean, we're looking at stacks of geometric shapes just bouncing around the screen, so I'm not sure what other type of music you'd want to put in for something like this. I think it's pretty good. There's also some slight variation to the weapon you can use. You can get a couple of weapon changes or weapon upgrades, and there are a considerable amount of different visual effects on the screen that are certainly different from the original. You get some new 3D shapes, you get explosions, you get background effects, and there's this sort of bonus minigame that's in between the levels that I don't really remember from the original. The minigame is basically you using the motion sensor inside the PS4 controller. You move the controller around to sort of fly through this cosmos-looking sort of tunnel path. Truthfully, this is the first time I can recall a game that I played actually trying to use this function on the controller, or at least use it so overtly. I guess it works for these sections okay, but we're just getting bonus points, so it's not like it's particularly dangerous or exciting to me. The graphics look great, of course. I mean, this is a PlayStation 4, but the original appeal to Tempest, at least to me, it was the simplicity of the wireframe construction. We get most of that here, but somehow it feels almost a little lost when you look at the original. It's definitely the same in many ways, but there are clearly changes that needed to be inserted for a modern audience, mostly around sound and different graphical choices. There also feels like there's a lot more going on visually. A lot more. When this game really gets going, it gets chaotic. Seriously chaotic. There is so much stuff happening on the screen in front of you that sometimes it gets really hard to focus on the most important part of the game, which is just trying to shoot and stay alive. So Tempest 4000, it can get pretty confusing at times, but I do appreciate the things they give you. You get these bombs that can clear the screen, which is awesome. And there's also this function where you can charge and jump your little cannon up off the playing field. I don't recall this being a feature of the original game, but it certainly works here, and I appreciate it. I think the one kind of a bummer moment that I had with this game was how the controller runs here. Yeah, I'm using a modern PS4 controller, and it works, but it just doesn't feel the same as when I played this in the arcade back in the day. The original arcade had this spinner controller, and you could really get that sucker moving fast. That worked great, and that felt awesome. It was like right for this game. Here, I find myself wishing we had a dedicated controller, like a spinner, just for this game. I think it would really add another level of control, and it would make it so much more enjoyable. But I guess, would producing a completely different style of controller for a game like this be worth it? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I'd buy one, of course, and it would definitely make games like Arkanoid more fun too, but I doubt we'll ever get one, because I don't think this type of game is that popular these days. So, Tempest 4000, it's sort of expected arcade fare, I think. It's really all about getting to the next level and scoring points. I wouldn't be one to sit down with this game to drop 3 or 4 hours into it at a whack, but giving it a go every now and again is fun enough for sure. I think This is particularly fun to play in a dark room. The vibrancy of the colors, they really seem to pop when the rest of the room around you is really dark. It's great. Even if the game is crazy at times, with the music, it's pretty entertaining. Well, that's all I have today for Tempest 4000 for the PlayStation 4. You can get this one across most of the modern consoles, I believe. And of course, if you're interested in the original, I'm pretty sure that one's included in some of the Atari Flashback consoles or releases. Thanks for stopping by to take a look, and I hope to catch you in another video.